I'd like to call to the regular Souderton Borough Council meeting this Monday, February 2nd at 7:01. And the saying goes that if the groundhog sees his shadow on Groundhog Day, there will be 6 more weeks of winter. So guess what Phil saw today? His shadow. And I've learned too that if the sun is out and the groundhog sees his shadow, that is indicative of a longer winter. But if you didn't see it, spring would be coming. So it's still going to be 6 weeks anyway. So just wanted to make that. Okay. No. 6 more. No more. All right. At this time, I would like to invite everyone to stand as you are able for a moment of silent reflection. Please take this time to consider the work we are here to do for our community tonight. May our deliberations be respectful and our decisions be informed, wise, and for the betterment of all of our residents. Thank you. Please remain standing for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag should the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Okay. Borough manager, would you like to take the attendance, please?
Yeah, all counselors are present.
Great, this is good. Okay, first order of business, I'd like to get a motion from council to approve the consent agenda that includes the meeting minutes and approval of bills for January and the work session, and then the bills will be the month of January and the month of February.
Madam President, make a motion to approve the consent agenda for the February 2nd, 2026 council meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, so Councilor Shawley and Littlefield. Any discussion? So can I get all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so that motion is carried. All right, and then next presentations. We do have a presentation this evening from our engineer, Gilmore and Associates, going to talk about a really exciting topic. It's called MS4 and it's about stormwater. And I'm excited to hear about it. We were given this presentation at our work session and they're going to be here to give us like the thumbnail sketch. So take it away, Jeff and Colleen.
All right.
Yeah,
all right. You guys hear me? Cool. Good. All right. Thanks for having us to come in to present the MS4 program to council and to the residents here of Southern Borough. The presentation program clearly of Southern Borough's MS4 permit program will explain what MS4 means, why stormwater is regulated, what the borough plans today, and what the actions are planned to achieve full compliance. Simply put, this is a federally mandated program with real local environmental and financial implications. Most of the storm sewer system. It is a system of routes, pipes, swales, drainage outfalls that collect stormwater runoff and discharge directly to local streams. From a sanitary sewage system, now stormwater not treated before it reaches waterways. Because stormwater runoff carries pollutants, MS4 outfalls are regulated as point sources under the Clean Water Act. This federal program is administered and enforced by PADEP through the NPDES permit process, which is the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System. The goal is to reduce pollutants entering the waterways. Next slide. You go to the next slide. Yeah, sorry. Thank you. Soil is rapid, which we're going to have a look at that soon. That flows to storm surfaces and picks up pollutants such as sand, nutrients, water from cars, and debris. Management practices, or BMPs, to reduce both volume from the pollutants it carries. These can be structural projects like stream restoration or rain gardens, as well as structural measures such as ordinances, inspections, and public education. MS4 are treated the same as pipe discharge, meaning the municipality responsible for what leaves the system. So it's just a list that kind of shows you the program as how it started with the current in 1972. In 1987, Congress specifically added stormwater discharges as regulated sources. EPA and phases 1 and 2 of the last 4 years in the 1990s, eventually extending requirements to smaller municipalities such as Souderton. These federal grants through the MS4 program, which sets standard conditions for municipalities statewide. That's for with significantly expanded requirements, including mandatory pollutant reduction plans known as PRPs and planning TMDL. From 2018 through 2020, I worked with PIDEP engineering consultants to develop a convergent POP and TMDL plan that met DEP expectations. In 2024, DEP further issued Southern's permit, increasing EPA enforcement pressure. In October 2024, DEP accepted the Borough plan, allowing implementation to move forward. Compliance with the approved plan is required by September 30th, 2029, with annual reporting throughout the permit term. Escaping Creek reactions, strand of Brooklyn Creek. These were resources that support drinking water, recreation, and aquatic life. Stormwater from impervious surfaces within the borough contributes directly to these streams. Creek and Skipback Creek are impaired by excess sediment and elevated nutrient loading, which is where regulatory attention is focused here. Turn it over to Colleen.
Thank you, Jeff. So you'll hear total maximum daily load is basically a pollutant budget for a stream. It defines like a maximum amount of pollutant that a water body can receive while still meeting water quality standards. For Indian Creek and Skipback Creek, TMDLs establish required reductions for sediment and nutrients. A portion of those reductions are assigned to MS4 municipalities like Souderton. The MS4 permit is the mechanism that requires the borough to plan, implement, and document those reductions through approved BMPs. We also have 6 minimum control measures that every municipality is required to adhere by. I'm going to run briefly by them. MCM1 is public education and outreach. It includes activities like distributing educational material, maintaining stormwater information on the borough website, which we just uploaded the PRP TMDL on the website a few days ago. Educating residents about pet waste, fertilizer use, etc. Public participation, MCM2. This is actually, you're handling one of your components tonight by giving this presentation for residents to comment on. And volunteer activities such as stream cleanup. MCM3, illicit discharge detection and elimination. It's basically you're monitoring your outfalls. And for Souderton, there's not many outfalls because you're a very built out borough. Responding to complaints about unusual odors or discoloration in streams and tracking corrective actions. MCM4 and MCM4, since you guys are a built out borough, you don't really have to worry too much about construction site runoff. You have very minimum development coming in and very minimum BMPs to track because you're very well built out. But if you were to track them, which is the few that you have, you just have to make sure they're being maintained properly. 6 is pretty applicable to you guys. It's focuses on municipal operations, making sure you have proper storage of materials at the public works yard, salt storage is being maintained. DEP does come around and do inspections, so it's not something to be terrified about, but it's just something to keep in mind. So as for compliance expectations, I think we're on the right one, yeah. Compliance based on both implementation and documentation. Documentation is really important for this permit. The borough must maintain and enforce stormwater ordinances, perform inspections of facilities and outfalls, operate public education programs, submit annual status reports. In addition, they must construct and maintain the BMPs that are identified in the PRP TMDL plan, which I'm going to speak about later. So we have reduction targets that Souderton has to meet. Existing sediment loads were calculated for Indian Creek and Skipback Creek. Indian Creek is estimated to carry around 118,000 pounds per year of sediment, while Skipback carries around 734,000 pounds per year. Combined, this results in 852,000 pounds. And this is the baseline used by DEP to determine required reduction. So Souderton needs to reduce their sediment loading by a minimum of 10%, so about 85,000 pounds. These reductions can be achieved through BMPs, DEP approved BMPs that have assigned pollutant reduction credits and must be documented in annual reports. Then Gilmore Associates evaluated a portfolio of 17 potential BMP projects representing a mix of structural and non-structural BMP practices. And collectively, they provide a sediment reduction of 123,000 pounds per year with a price tag of 2.4 million roughly of an investment. However, it was shown that one project provides the majority of the reduction. The stream restoration project is at the Souderton Sewage Treatment Facility. This is the cornerstone of the borough's compliance strategy. Mainly, it takes down your $2.4 million price tag and brings it down to $315,000 estimated cost. And it exceeds the entire required reduction on its own, making it both cost effective and highly efficient. Turn it over to Jeff to talk about grant funding.
Thanks, Colleen. Another grant provides available to support electrical rehabilitation, restoration, and rip conservation grants. Typically for 250 and 300,000. So that's kind of in the range of what we're talking about for the stream. We require a match. The borough's approach is to aggressively pursue these funding opportunities to offset capital costs and reduce the burden on local taxpayers. The law requires sustainable funding mechanisms. A proper tool to cut stormwater utility fees or special assessments, developer contributions or no fees, and coordination with neighboring municipalities. Grant to support and replace the funding strategies and can help accelerate project implementation. As far as implementation schedule, from 2026 through 2027, the focus will be on the preliminary design, planning, and securing funding for the stream restoration project. 2027 and 2028 would be focused on funding, design, permitting, and construction of the stream restoration project being anticipated. And from 2028 through 2029, the borough whether any BMPs are required and complete all documentation needed to demonstrate full compliance to PADEP. And that's because, as we referenced, the stream project should likely take care of all the load that's required in this plant cycle. It all comes down to the DEPs, look at everything and determining whether you're going to get that full credit. So that's why we have all those other projects listed as, and we and are in the plan such that if we fall a little short, there's a couple of those we can pull off to actually meet the requirements. As far as future are expected to include increased emphasis on nutrient and volume reduction and greater regional coordination. Proactively planning on investing now positions to respond more efficiently to future regulatory changes and help avoid higher costs down the road. I'll talk to you guys. Talking about I just saw the particularly the efficient responsibility between the municipality, residents, and businesses. So for obligations through proactive planning, cost-effective projects, and responsible use of funding. Continued council support is critical to maintaining compliance and protecting local resources. So at this point, that's the end of our presentation. If anybody has any questions for us, I'm happy to try to answer any questions you have. Absolutely.
Anyone have any questions? Oh, and yeah, we did have this, presentation at our work session, and, we're working on review all the initiatives that we talked about. Another additional, item is that, Dan Benchik and I will be going to Turkey and Stillwater, March 20th.
Okay.
Start partnering with our towns, which until we got out about it, didn't know. So now we know about, we want, and I'm excited and hopefully this will go very well.
Great.
Once the borough gets compliant, I heard you guys say 300,000. This is all speculative.
Sure, absolutely.
From a year to year standpoint, how much money do you think it's gonna cost to maintain compliance?
That is a good question. That's not an easy answered question. But as I referenced to council before, and I'll reiterate, you have a road program typically every year to pave certain roads every year, and there's a certain allocation for that. It is a similar type program that would be beneficial to start accumulating that funding and accounting for projects. Now, they may not be, and they're not going to be every year, but the projects, as you see, a $300,000 project. Now, that's fortunate for this cycle that we found that kind of a project that handle all the requirements, and hopefully that does come to fruition. But you don't have a lot of available land within the borough, as everybody knows. And future permits are going to require more volume reduction, which means more like rain gardens and basins, which is a lot tougher to do here. So the planning for that is going to be a little different. But again, it's going to be a matter of trying to have that money set aside. Maybe those projects don't happen till every 4 years, but they tend to be higher cost. So it is a very similar type outlook. But again, we are looking for right now, and we will continue to look in the future for grant opportunities to offset borough and taxpayer costs.
Sounds like we're not just gonna need to partner with the communities, but also with our community and getting some of this work done because of how built out there.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Does have any questions? And look at the website.
And can I add?
Yeah, go for it.
The public participation process, we're in a 30-day comment period. So if any residents were interested in making a comment, then they have 30 days to make those comments. The plan is on the borough website, so they're able to view and access it. And then you have to send any comments you have to the borough manager. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, good evening, everyone. Let's see. I'm sure all of you have seen on social media and heard through the grapevine, but we are excited to announce the first annual Front Street Fire and Frost, which is coming at the end of this month, February 28th from 5 to 9. It's going to be Front Street, basically from Broad down to a little bit past Brass Collar and a little bit on Noble. We're going to have a live ice carver there doing demo. We're going to have a couple propane fire pits there and s'mores. We have food trucks that are committed to be there as well. There'll be a band on the deck at Brass Collar throughout the night. We have a fire and LED light performer coming and some other fun and hopefully some guests that we can announce a little closer. So stay tuned to our social media, but we're really excited to get this going. It's been an idea that Souderton Connects has had for a few years. And I will say that I'm happy to announce this entire event and all of these things that I just listed is fully funded by sponsorship. So we aren't even tapping into any of our bid money, even though I know it's going to help some of the bid businesses that are happy we're bringing stuff to the other side of Broad Street. So we have some people that'll stay open. I've already reached out to all the restaurants and breweries to maybe do some fun ideas for that week leading up to it, or especially that day, spicy food, special drink, something like that. So a lot of people are really excited about this. So everyone come out. It'll be fun. Also, the second annual St. Patty's Day Bar Crawl. That isn't a Souderton Connects sponsored event, but the same bars and establishments that were part of it last year are doing it again this year. It will be on Saturday, March 14th, right before St. Patty's Day. We are, though, at Souderton Connects going to help out a little bit more this year and get the word out with marketing and assist with that. So that'll be another fun event in the winter to get everyone out of the house. The website is officially turned back over to all things Black Friday and summer as well. So that is officially open for people to sign up. So that announcement's going out this week to everybody. And our beautification committee has their first Saturday cleanup on Saturday, March 28th. I'll remind everyone again, but starting at 10 a.m. We haven't picked the exact location yet. We'll obviously wait for everything to melt and see where we can focus. We want to get more of the community out too this year as well and see what businesses might want us to target some of their places. So that's what we have scheduled right now. And our second meeting is next week. So I know I'll have more at the next meeting. Any questions?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, Sunny, Park. Indiana Public Library.
Hello, and thank you. For those of you who don't know, February is Love Your Library Month. And we're celebrating that with our roundtable event. It's a fun and fundraising event. That's Saturday, February 7th from 7 to 10. You can get your tickets online or you can buy them at the door. For those of you who don't know, I work in healthcare consulting and do a lot of data analytics. So I look forward to being able to share with you the annual numbers. So I do have the annual numbers from 2025. In New York, 25,681 active cardholders, and 61% of the Indian Valley residents, which is higher, I think, than the national average. People with a mailing address, there are 5,512 cardholders. Broader than the borough because I tried to back into a percent and it was like 75%, which seems a little bit high. So that's probably mailing address and not just the borough, but still a few people in Souderton have a card. In 2024, 10,863 visits to the library. That's about 330 per day. Every hour, which equates to more than one person every 2 minutes coming into the library. So very active facility still. What we've really been promoting is meeting room space and being a venue for people to meet organizations or individuals. In 2024, there were 22,637 people attended 1,240 programs at the library. 259 groups used the library meeting space, and 2,891 individuals, about 8 per day, booked an individual meeting space. So you can see that the library is. I was trying to think of where individual public locus would be as busy as a library in the Indian Valley, and I can't think of anything that would be have more traffic than we do. So that's great to think. Any questions for me? No. So you can buy tickets at the wine tasting. Yep, you can buy them at the door if you want to see how you feel on Saturday night. See if you feel like coming over. All right, before that, did want to again share the importance of data. So Puxatawny Phil did an analysis over the last 20 years, and he is ranked only about 35% of the time. Could be off.
The only thing I have to share today is something kind of cool to look out for. This year, the Souderton Perseverance Fire Company celebrates its 125th anniversary. And so for that, the 1917 Model T is currently on display at the Philadelphia Auto Show. Yeah, that's pretty neat. So if you get down there, go take a look. And there will be events probably for that 125th anniversary this year, but TV. It's my only report.
And, next up, the kitchen.
Thank you, Council President. So I just want to start with some comments about the recent snowstorm. I just want to say how proud I am of my officers and for their work in some difficult conditions during this recent snowstorm. I had officers reaching out to me to see if they were needed and willing to come in while they were off duty. They were calling me. I was not calling them. But I'm equally proud and thankful, and I can't say enough about each of the following. Let me back up a quick second. I don't worry too much about negative comments on Facebook, and I believe that the citizens have every right to make comments. And I mean that. But somebody made a comment on our Facebook post about work ethic. I'm referring, I think, to the public works committee on the result. So I want to say a couple words about the road. And I want this person to see what I saw. Because I was in for about 13 hours that day. And the road crew was in here before I got here. And the road crew was here when I left. I'm not so sure they took a single break that day, or at least not a significant break. They would actually meet the police at a busier intersection. They helped plow the road in front of us and led us into some serious calls that were happening that day that were not weather related, that had to be addressed, whether there's a snowstorm or not. The other parties that were right there with them was the fire department and the fire police, who staffed their stations before there was a problem, and who also gave us assistance and led us to calls. The medics were obviously right there with us as well. And I was also in contact throughout the day with the mayor and the borough manager. And I told them, and I've told this council several times now before, that this does not happen everywhere. And it's days like this that remind me how special this community is. In fact, during the height of the storm, I passed a pedestrian walking up Main Street by himself. I stopped only to discover that it was the mayor. He took the time to ask me if I was okay. That is a true story. I had an officer the other day who was out there without me asking him, out there shoving around fire hydrants just to make sure this community would continue to be safe as snow gets moved again in the aftermath of this storm. And Jason, you may be the easiest person I've ever worked with. And I appreciate you and your crew. So I don't know what work ethic, this citizen who has every right to say so was talking about. But once again, I wish they could come out and see what I saw. And I thank you, Jason. You're a good man. I would like to touch on a couple other things real quick. Unfortunately, my officers were involved in 3 physical altercations in the month of January. And as you can imagine, nothing concerns me as a chief of police or as a fellow officer that we had that many instances where we had to go hands on people. That's just the way the month of January was. And Diana Fields retired as the police department administrative assistant. Her last day was on Friday. She couldn't be with us here tonight, but she served this community for 16 years. She was the heart and soul of the police department, and she was invaluable to me as I transferred over here and began my duties. I would not want to end this meeting without recognizing her and her service. And as always, on Wednesday, we'll be putting out our monthly stats on Facebook. I'm waiting till Wednesday because, to be honest with you, I didn't want to bury Diana's post that we put up there. So we're giving that a day to see. And I'm available for any questions.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So before Jason gives his report, I have. It's, you guys really knocked it out. I just wanted to in this moment extend or to describe to the Public Works Department. Was tired. I've heard from many people about the storm and ones for that. We're all staying at home more, and you guys are out there. We see you going up and down the streets, braving the told, and hazard, hazardous. It's often unseen when the Public Works does. But it's felt by every single resident, we have to go to work, we have to go to school, we appreciate that. And I just want to give you a round of applause. Now you can get your report. Your report.
See if we can get a wall.
Public Works report for the month of January, labor distribution. Municipal buildings and equipment maintenance, back up, we had a total of 1,080 hours for the month of January. Some of the hours that we had spent, municipal building and equipment maintenance, 34 hours. General highway work was 413. Snow and ice was 253. Sanitary sewer was 7 hours. Storm sewer work was 33. Parks and Recreation, we had 22 hours. Swimming pool, there was 2 hours of time. And interesting enough, we had 197 and a half hours of overtime. And all of that was due to the multiple snowstorms that we had. Some of the work that we have completed, all the equipment has been serviced and thoroughly cleaned. Trucks, air compressors, rollers, things like that, all of our Turo-owned equipment. In the past month, we did extend the Wi-Fi down to the filter building and the pool. That's going to allow us to get live updates from what the pumps are doing in real time, so we can know immediately when there's a problem, we can come in and take care of it. General highway work, brush was completed. Some damaged street signs that have come in, we replaced those and repaired them as needed. One round of pothole patching has been completed, and plow and salt spreader repairs. With that big storm, the latest couple big storms, we had some plow cylinders and some other issues with our equipment, so we were repairing all of that. Snow and ice. We had 4 weather-related incidents for the month of January, totaling about 22 inches of snow. 4 events, and we wound up plowing 3 of those events. And we are still working on snow removal around town to eliminate safety concerns and also help with parking. Storm sewer work, we had various inlet box cleaning, and we had some work on the culvert on Chestnut Street. Sanitary sewer, we jetted out a slow-moving main on Garfield Avenue, and also plunged a sewer vent on 22 Adams Avenue. Parks and Recreation was routine bathroom checks and trash checks, and also new sculpture for the Rotary Park has arrived and will be installed as soon as the snow starts melting. And again, overtime was all snow removal and sidewalk cleaning. That's my.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
In fact, they know that people are on salt shortage problems.
So, yes, we are in that as well. I currently probably have 80 tons sitting at the Borough shop, and I probably have another 45 down at Schultz. So, we typically throw in upwards of 40 tons of salt when we go around for one round. So we have 1 or 2 good storms left that we can salt. I do have 2 orders in, and in contact with emails coming back and forth from Morton where we get our salt. They are in the process of getting their salt delivery, so they're probably looking next week sometime to fill our open orders that we have. So I got my fingers crossed that that comes in time. If not, we can work with some of the other local municipalities and give and take with salt, give it back when we need. So we have a good relationship with Telford, so that works good. Yes. Yes.
President Kemp.
Like all that extra stuff. So what we do right now is we haul it off site and we put it down at Schultz. We have a huge open area behind our milling pile that is just We dump it back there and push it up every day, so it's enough that it stays back there and it's out of the way. It doesn't really impact anybody, so that's what we're seeing. Yeah, you might be able to see it from the road. It's tucked back there pretty far.
All right, thank you. Solicitor, Commissioner Patrick.
Yes, thank you. I have submitted my report, just two highlights in that report, and three Towngate Commons, Dr. Bell did receive their zoning. Leave. We will have a hearing on the use application in some session on February 17th. That the process is being advertised now. Council does grant that conditional use, you will see an amended land development application. That's on. At a later date, and it's not being submitted. The nature of the variance would be is the number of drive-throughs that needed. And then item number 9 is the other highlight. The handbook, Sarah and Kay have Kay Weeder from my office have prepared that. Needed I'll just say a big overhaul. It's now complete, it's been distributed. I think they did a summary of the highlights for council. So these are the 2 items that were on the honest. Like to take any questions.
Thank you very much. So next up, we're moving to committee reports. We have several committees. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna let you go. I'm very good with my check-in, so sorry. Our manager, very.
And we'll just add to the salt discussion, we did our salt bid with the consortium. And so with that, they've been spending a lot of time going back and forth with Morton on our behalf. And they have engineers and it's New Hanover's solicitors involved, which is kind of nice. They can pay for that argument. So they are working on our behalf to get it satisfied and working out like if you need to get delivery from somewhere else, Morton reimbursing us the difference in price and all of that. So we're in an okay spot. Jason was ahead of the game in terms of ordering. There are some large projects who like did kind of for the big story. Jason and I took delivery a couple weeks ago of the small dump truck that we ordered at the end of last year. That came in. So the taxi the taxi was delivered and it went to the outfitter to get the rest of that taken care of. I wouldn't expect to see it for the summer.
I think she said the beginning of the 3rd quarter we would see it.
So we will have it here soon. I've just been working through some facility issues, personnel issues, wastewater issues, and then just end of year report. For season for everybody who wants information. So I think that's all I have unless anyone has any questions.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. Okay, we'll move on to committee reports. Council, Nancy, chairs, start telling me what just your update when is your next meeting and report.
Public safety meets February 12th, 5:30. So we'll take up probably where we left off with a couple different active projects, school zones, e-bikes, that kind of stuff. As soon as the snow disappears, the e-bike gangs will be back out, and so I understand that a little bit more safety on our roads. I think that's going to continue to be prevalent. I pray that no kid or anybody gets hurt because of their reckless. Not just in our borough. It's not us problem. It's a matter of organization. Yep.
Mr.
Yeah, we are still nailing down a date. And we're waiting for one other person to reply. I did a reply. We're in the team. Yeah, that should be rounded.
So Outreach and Economic Development. Thank you, Daryl and Sarah, met with Dan and I and got us up to speed on what those two committees did in the past. A lot of great conversation, some, back research that some of us are doing for our next meeting on February 11th, where we will hopefully set our goals. And Jim, I don't want to make any announcements until we have things completed. And I would like you.
Alright, so two reports. One is we have a ad hoc ration committee. So we met with Sarah, what are the current contracts for we had some ideas, how to move forward with the new contract with the executive by the end of the year. And our next meeting will be on the 9th of February for Park and Rec. We met, discussed pool planning. We set up our cadence meetings and then discussed some things with West Street Park, and we set up our committee.
That's excellent. Executive committee will meet on the 27th. And I'm your advisor.
Yes, we had our first meeting of the year. And once again, thanks to our lovely borough manager, you do not need a tax anticipation. If you're in order of that. So we're glad about that. We focused on reviewing current financial performance, budget variances, and upcoming priorities. We discussed some revenue trends and areas that we were going to require closer monitoring. And follow-up items will be revisited. Overall, like the state, I think we're financially stable. And once again, we'll have our next meeting February 2nd, February, Wednesday, Thursday. Third Wednesday tonight. Anybody wants? That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. All right, next we're going to public comments. So if you have any comment, you're for a resident, property, or business owner, you can step to the podium, could you state your name and your address and your.
Hello. Thanks for having me. My name is Constantine Stern. I'm a resident at 33 East Reliance Road. I would suggest that this is a good place to ask a question about ordinance. And somebody could explain to me better to me because the answer I was given is too advanced for me to understand. So the ordinance is the I don't have a printer, so I can bring this up on the phone. It's a rental ordinance. And as far as can I read to you or yeah, so an apartment dwelling, house, room, or group of rooms rented or offered for rent for residential purposes. The term shall not include an in-law suite. I have a problem understanding what is an in-law suite because I am not exempt from it. Does that make sense? And the answer I was given because you can't prove that it's my family who lives there. And you will not accept proof that is my family. So I would like to understand what was the difference between rental and an in-law suite and what would disqualify an in-law suite. Elon, I got multiple answers that I cannot occupy both units, even though there's nothing stopping me from living in one unit and having my wife live in another unit. So I can occupy both units. So yeah, so for the future, I would just like to know what where we stand in lawsuit or a rental, so I don't get another citation. Okay.
Our solicitor and also the planning commission.
Yeah, I could not get much information out of the clerk. That's the information I got from the clerk. If there's somebody else who might explain it better to me, I would appreciate it. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
That resolution. First, so very soon.
I can. The first one is resolution 2026-06, which is the Ward 2 counselor appointment done by resolution. To fill the vacancy of the Defiant State Preparation Act.
All right, so I need motion from council to approve the resolution 2026 for 2000.
Madam President, I make a motion to approve resolution 2026-06, details of the Ward 2 vacancy.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I think it's just worth noting that the process probably have to be quite perfect. And a vacancy as a result of somebody who would take the seat after they were elected. Without solicitation for anybody in Ward 2 that would like to put their nomination forward. That candidates will be interviewed at the last work session.
So all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Resolution carries. Resolution 2026-06 for 2000.
Will swear.
Oh, yeah.
Daisy before you get.
Yeah, the 5th is the deadline for the vacancy filled by law, which is Thursday. And then she'll come to the first work session and then we'll have the swearing in the 18th of March. Next week. Right.
The next item is just approving the planning commission. This seat has been vacant for probably a year. So Wade and Shaw actually had initially inquired about the vacant council seat, and had decided to not move forward with that to the type of commitment, but thought that it still would be a good asset to the planning commission. So Eva is an engineer by trade, lives locally, obviously in Ward 2, and was Ed Huber, who was formerly a councilperson, who's chair of the planning commission, had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Henshaw, and thought that she would be a great addition to the planning commission. So the seat that he is filling would have expired the end of 2025, so it is the full 4-year term.
Again, motion from council to approve the Henshaw to planning commission with a term that's December 31st.
Madam President, I make a motion to appoint Wade Henshaw to the planning commission for the term to expire December 31st, 2020.
I'm in a second. I'll second. Any discussion? So always in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries.
And then the last item is resolution 2026-07, which is the of the handicap parking space. This was discussed at the work session meeting for 33 Adams Avenue. And this would be for one spot, not a dedicated spot, just for the addition of a handicap spot at location, obviously when the weather breaks.
Okay, can I get a motion from council to resolution 20-26-7 handicap parking space near 33 Ave?
Yep, motion to approve resolution 2026-07, establishing a handicap parking space near 33 Adams Avenue.
Second. So motion by Council Shelby, second by Council Fox. Any discussion? None, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
That one carries. For that, that ends the business of, we do have to go into an executive session. We will not be convened here, so free to go and, oh, I need a motion. I need a motion for adjourn. Oh, right. Let's see, I need a motion to move to executive session.
First, convene to executive sessions.
Yeah.
Oh, this is.